nation of sorts. No need to pick a team, but hey, we're here to help you, show you how it works. So for me, that's how, yeah, I'd spend ₱1,000,000. I think that can go a long way. Hindi lang, we're gonna finish a 1,000,000 one go. This is something that could be really managed. Yeah. I mean, kung football jersey thing that the directors mentioned, I mean, it's kind of tough though. I'm gonna go. Who wants to go next?
Go ahead.
I go.
Go na, you're in the middle after all.
I think for this question actually, there's an argument to be made na if you pick one, the other will follow it. Because you argue that if there's more fans, you can spend for FPS, and then if there's FPS, quality of the game is higher, more fans will be attracted. But if I had to choose one right away, if I had to blow my 1,000,000 in one go or not, in one of these options, it would also be bringing fans to the stands. I think you also feel it as commentators. It's so much of a boost to commentate over a game where it's loud, where people are shouting, not too inappropriately, but people are acting passionately, although not overtly so. It just makes the atmosphere in the ground and also on stream when you're watching it. It makes it more intense, and by default, you feel every goal more. You feel every tackle more. You feel every 50-50 that goes your way or the other way more. So that's what happens when there's just more fans in the stands. And we see it also. It happens from time to time where there's a really good atmosphere, where there's a lot of fans in Rizal or in other stadiums in the Philippines, of course, New Clark, or those of you who are old enough to have watched the game in Panaan, wherever.
Whoa. I mean, I didn't get to go to Panaan, just saying, but I see what you're doing there, Jegs.
Shots fired.
I don't really want to. I don't really want to kasi somehow medyo malapit pa yung age namin ni Jego. But hey, that's something I'm pretty sad about. I didn't get to go to a Panahad game. Yeah, man.
Or actually, Cebu, you've been to a Cebu stadium game, right?
I flew to Cebu in 2014 to watch
Yeah.
the Cebu-Malaysia game, 0-0.
And also the dynamic of Cebu Stadium. It's
Yeah, commentated there
yeah.
twice.
So you'd know when the stadium is full.
Oh, that thing's like a
Yeah.
legal game
Yeah.
cheat.
So that would be my option.
Bukas, puno yung arena, di ba? Futsal.
Sana.
For futsal, ayun.
Yeah.
A crazy atmosphere in futsal, by the way. But let's get to it, Natasha. Your much awaited answer.
So football video support or bringing fans to the stands. If I had =1,000,000, if that's all it took, I hope that's all it takes, but like, I would say football video support. Again, there's no right or wrong answer. That's just that what would you prioritize first? And I think that with the level of our officiating, that I think that football video support would be more important to make sure that they're assisted to make better decisions, which hence makes the games better. And then when the game is better, then it's easier to sell as a package. Of course, I'd always love to have fans. You can always just, host the games in Cebu.
All the games.
And have video support, places like Cebu or Bacolod where the fans are just a bit more willing to be there right now. But yeah, I think that for the video support, it will really change as a player as well. That's also been at the shit end of the stick. You hate it that when a game comes down to a call that you didn't deserve. And so I think that video assistance would be definitely where I would blow my money on first to make sure that whoever deserves to win wins the game.
Mm-hmm.
And then everything else will follow.
Because Diego and I gave similar answers and then Natasha gave something different. No card. No, I'm just kidding. Para ba iba, diba? No. I'm just kidding, of course. I mean, I totally get that side also where as a player, a team owner, an investor, go down the line, okay, at least we have this to help us out also. Maybe if there's something that, maybe a call we felt should have gone our way, penalty, no penalty, direct red card, yeah, just some of the stuff also that could be challenged by football video support, FVS. So yeah, there you go. We will carry on. Anything else you guys wanted to add? Oh, Jane, what do you have to say, by the way? Don't worry, Jane, we didn't forget you. Diego and I left you hanging a number of times, so what do you have to say? There, we remember Jake, right? Just so you know, parang...
Wait, I feel like either way, I mean, what, if you, as you said,
Yeah.
you mentioned earlier, you know, you go the fan route, eventually, it attracts more sponsors.
Eyeballs.
Right?
Yeah, and then, uy, may sponsor tayo, madaming nanonood dito. Yeah. Yeah. Well, cool. At least no cards were issued in this edition of the Minsan Football Show.
Meron panaan.
And there's something, Jags, can you read the comments?
Yes, so
I think
there's
they're
a-
roasting you, right? For the age.
I got a red card from the comments.
You got a red card?
That's from a certain Jason Conanan. So there's also comments here about
Check
a
it
lot
out.
of comments are agreeing on the fan
Yeah.
take, and yes, because they add so much to the experience. No? Yeah.
That's true. One of the comments here was, fans matter more. Doesn't matter if you have Madrid versus Liverpool, if it's 20 fans in the stadium.
And then 30 LOC.
That's true.
Yeah, because
Ooh, another shout out here. So there were two comments. So one was from the hardest, what is it? The hardest hitting.
Yep.
And then the other one was from Kiki 028C. Kaya can't invite, even require their academy players to watch their games. Oof.
We've seen them bring their...
I've seen the women's team though. I've seen the women's team watch.
they're always there. And I believe Stallion also.
So same with Stallion.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
the women's team come out to watch, and then for Kaya as well, the women's team comes out to watch.
But yeah, when we carry on, of course, to the next segment, but if you have that idea of a sudden, just feel free to share that in the comment section, and we'll look to read it out. No cards were issued in this edition of the Minsan Football Show. Unless you want one, you give us a really crazy answer. Yeah. Shout out to Direct Glenn for saving us from the cards. Baka mo suspend ako. Susunod na, ano yan? Episode. You too. Ay, may ka na.
Yeah,
I think
May isa pa ako.
You haven't gotten cards.
Why I think that the video support, syempre hindi ko ma-let go eh. Kasi nobody is siding with me.
Don't worry,
But
go ahead.
the other thing why I would choose video support over bringing fans to the stadium, though, of course, who would I want to play in front of a full stadium? I was just thinking more in terms of how far my money can go. I have money to bring fans to the stadium. Your money runs out, will the fans still come? But if I have the video support, that's a long-term investment. And then when the fans come eventually, you'll still have that piece of technology already there. So anyways, either way, it's a win-win.
How
Can
about
we have both?
In an ideal world,
we got the best? Oh. Can I just add though, where I think that it's the Philippines who called for the challenge, right? Or the
last Monday
Yeah.
support. Yeah.
And when the referee comes out like, oh, let's go! We're gonna see this on our soil. I mean, we had VAR already, right? But the fact that it's happening in a World Cup for the Philippines contesting a call, us as fans were like, uy, parang first time ito. Yeah, we're like freaking out.
I just want to add as well, completely off topic, guys.
Go ahead.
So during the game, during the futsal game, there's a new cheer that they've been doing, wherein, let's say, there's a handball that happened. You know, you're calling for the ref to give the call. The ref doesn't give a call. And so now, our ultras, shout out to them. They're awesome.
Oh, whoa, okay.
They
Now
have
I
this new
remember.
chant.
Thank you
They
for
have this new
reminding me.
chant, wherein, when the ref doesn't give like the right call, kulong na yan, mga kurakot. Kulong na yan, mga kurakot. And it's got 50-50 reviews. Some
Really?
people are like, they don't like it. And for others, they do. My take, I love it. You know, it's our own chant. It's a chant that you can feel deeply on a very different level because of the politics in our country. But at the same time, you can use it in a different way throughout the game when calls don't go your way without calling them out, you know, specifically. What's your take on that cheer?
With what you said na lang, di ba, I'm not giving that a yellow, I'm not giving that a red. Ikaw na ang woman of the match ngayong gabi sa Minsan Football Show.
I'm just wondering.
Yes.
You haven't
I was
watched the
laughing
game,
because
right? But
super,
it's so good.
super connect. It's like
Correct.
rep your country, not rep your city, rep your country. Yeah.
I'll just say, I know what I'll be cheering tomorrow when I'm there.
Parang nasa-channel mo yung galit mo sa bansa sa referee.
Whoa, bro. Oof. All right. Anything else you wanted to add for futsal?
Oh, and
Or
that was the
anything,
first
whatever.
time where, of course, we had VAR in the country. That was the first time where we'd actually hear the referee speak, no?
Oh, that's where we
Yeah,
freaked out. Yeah, like, oh, the ref's
Yeah.
gonna speak. Because the last time a referee spoke for a Philippines review, maybe out loud. Women's World Cup in New Zealand, not so good.
The red card.
Sophia Harrison
Yeah.
got a yellow card. Yeah. Not so good. But it's like, yo, okay, history. It's all happening, unfolding, so we're just counting it and we're getting to witness it. Yep.
And that's also our way.
It is on to the big one today right here, Maharlika and Stallion Laguna, to bring you match number 48 in your Philippines Football League 2025-2026 season. We are coming to you from the historic Rizal Memorial Stadium in Manila. A big thank you for joining us. Clara Manzano here alongside Diego Cordero to bring you the action. Main event of the day here, Diego, and of course there's so much to unbox. First with Maharlika FC.
Yeah, Maharlika, they've had a mixed season, you could say. They've had good results where you'd expect them to win, but then in big games, they haven't been able to take any points so far. So they have 4 wins and 4 losses this season, and those 4 losses came against the quote-unquote Big Six rivals. Today is another chance for them to break that duck against Stallion Laguna FC.
The temperatures have definitely gone down by a bit right here in the city of Manila. We are aware, of course, that
humidity can be a factor right here in games, but this one again being played in the evening, so expect some cooler temperatures, maybe more action also. But take us through this Maharlika squad. They did get that win against Valenzuela PB Menjola, which they were supposed to bag, but it's a two-game spiral right here for them.
Yeah, it's a squad that is really revamped compared to their previous seasons. Again, Maharlika, we know them from previous seasons to be a team that doesn't really compete at the upper echelons of the PFL, but this season they've changed that. They've looked a lot better when compared to their past campaigns, and they've signed a lot of PFL experience, most of which is even on the bench. That's how deep their squad is this season. They have a lot of players that they could turn to tonight for them to get perhaps all 3 points for the first time this season against a big team.
You did mention there, instead converting chances and keeping composure will be essential for them, perhaps because Stallion Laguna would normally dictate pace of the game, but here is that form of theirs. And again, it's up and down, but if they want to grab these wins or a spot in the top 6, they definitely need to bag some upsets.
Yeah, and I think the most disappointing one there is the latest result, a 4-1 loss to Cebu, because you were feeling that perhaps that could have been the game where they maybe stood up to a bigger team, maybe take a point or all 3. In the end, they actually conceded just after a few minutes, so they want to bounce back. That was their last game. Again, they didn't play last PFL weekend, and they're the team that got the bye, so they're 3 weeks rested. So let's see if that can actually help them tonight.
Rest or rust, of course, it all depends. It can either hurt you or help you. But there you go with Maharlika FC. It is a 4-2 right here for Coach Moon Hong.
Yeah, the usual suspects are starting. Of course, we want to point out Mike Menzi, who we've actually marked as one of our important players. But look at that PFL experience in that team. You have Kenry Balobo, Ivan Oano, of course, I mentioned Mike Menzi already. So they have players that have been in and around Philippine football for quite some time now. I'm sure that if they're going to get anything from tonight, those individuals are going to have to step up.
What is interesting is that Jorel Aristorenas will be starting this game on the bench alongside Fami Ibrahim and Eric Giganto. And they will have Dine Barley in central midfield, a position he has shown, of course, that he is well capable of playing. But Mike Menzi is the player to watch here, and he's seen the ups, the downs, the highs, and the lows of this Maharlika program.
Yeah, Maharlika have a few captains, and Mike Menzi, he's not the captain tonight, but he is one of those individuals that usually takes the armband. That's a sign of his leadership. Again, he's one of the more experienced players in this Maharlika team. It's a team full of youth, so he's the type of individual that the youth have to look up to in order to become better players. And I actually checked earlier this evening, Mike Menzi is the player on the Maharlika team that has the most minutes among anyone. So that's a sign of how much trust Coach Moon Hong has in him.
And actually, there's some bad blood, you could say, here in a competitive way, because Maharlika has a few or a number of players who were actually with Stallion Laguna recently, of course. And that is why maybe there are revenge games in the cards, as we know. But with that, of course, we got to preview Maharlika and see how things are shaping up for them. We are going to take it to our coach interview.
We have 2 losses in a row. So we lost to Taguig. We gave them a good game, but then we lost to Cebu 4-1. So this season, first half of the season, we've been performing well, I think, but not good enough as I expect us to be. So today is the game against the big Stallion team. So today, as I said before, we're going to go all in to actually win this game. And I think we're capable of doing it. But now we have to, instead of speaking, actually show to the PFL that we can actually beat the big teams. So I hope we get the win for the last game, and then we have a good holiday.
And Coach Moon Hong, of course, speaking on how they are going to preview this game. And also they have that I got you, you got me mentality, of course. All for one, or one for all. But we just wrapped up the number 7 Maharlika FC side. Let's head over to Stallion Laguna. This is essentially a battle for 6th, because whoever will fall in this game will be outside of the championship round heading into the holiday break. But with Stallion, and you're saying they have to be resolute for the full game.
Yeah, that's because if you actually look at their previous results, you'll see that for most of the game, they were resolute. But especially in the latter moments of the game, they usually concede really, really heartbreaking equalizers in those final extra time moments. You know, the most famous one, of course, was that goal by Aguilas from their goalkeeper. And yeah, that's been a trend so far this season for Stallion because the same thing happened to Cebu. Rico Andes got that last minute dagger.
At the death, past the 90th minute.
Yeah. And if I recall, the same thing happened between Bigger when Yuga Watanabe scored that last minute equalizer as well. So that's what happens to Stallion a lot of the season. They haven't been able to take a big game despite the fact that they performed well against Manila Digger, against Cebu. They kept it close against Kaya, and they should have won against Aguilas.
And if they put those away, actually, you could add +8 into their tally in theory. But there's the could have, should have, or would have. But they are out to bounce back and are actually on a 3-game unbeaten run. There's the win versus Army, a draw versus Aguilas, which essentially does not help you. But they love that they are coming off that 8-0 win over Garelli.
Yeah, of course. So they're currently still in the top 6 because of all of those previous results. Just sitting a little bit in a dangerous spot because if they lose today, they'll be out of that top 6. But here we see their starting lineup. Usual suspects, no surprise in here whatsoever. You see all the stalwart names for Stallion Laguna FC, and I'm sure that there are a good number of players on this list right now who could definitely win this game for Stallion.
And you've got Todong Villarreal who will be playing at the back for them. And there is Stefan Track who will be controlling this game as that holding midfielder. It's that 4-3-3 as opposed to the 4-4-2 of Maharlika. Finn McDaniel, of course, our tournament leading scorer for the meantime, will be the tip of the spear. Juan Galiana Trujillo leads the league in assists and will be playing over to his right. We'll try to bank on that familiarity. But it's big games like these again where Laguna need to deliver. But with that, of course, Stefan Schrack, not pictured, that is Ivan Owano, is our player to look out for. But with Shraki, he can play anywhere in the attack, anywhere in the midfield, and even fullback on defense. Kulang na lang center back and goalkeeper. He will be tasked with leading this Stallion Laguna squad and controlling the pace of the game.
Yeah, you definitely expect that he is going to be one of those players that Maharlika have to keep a closer eye on just because of his talent alone. You know, he is the type of player that can create chances from absolutely nothing. And, you know, if he does more of that tonight, not be surprised given his quality. Everyone knows the level of football he reached in Germany, in the Bundesliga. And of course, for the Philippines, he's made countless appearances. And he's been around in the PFL scene for so long now. So it's no surprise that we've actually marked him as the player to watch.
Stefan Schrack there pictured as we sorted things out. And how could you, of course, miss Stefan Schrack? There's just that swag you can feel in the air when he walks into the stadium. And I felt that even when I saw him and watching the Futsal World Cup. But there you go. We got to wrap up Stallion Laguna. We'll take it to our interview for Stallion Laguna.
We won last week, so we hope we'll be able to continue our luck. The team's well prepared. Kind of our first week back, complete week back from Vietnam for the women. So just getting back in the swing of things. But while we were out, Coach Neil, Coach Sam took over the preparations of the team. So we're good. You know, weather looks good. So hopefully we'll have a good game today.
Coach Ernie Nieras, of course, always in high spirits, and it definitely helps that they are coming off that 8-0 win versus Garelli. They're essentially games that you need to win, and there are other games where it's 50-50, and you have to at least take half of them. Laguna have really struggled, as we know, in bagging wins against championship contenders. As we've noted again, they are on the verge of grabbing a win versus Manila Digger. Diggers did salvage a points and opener. They could not put their chance because Rico Andes' magic. And there was a game versus Aguilas where the goalkeeper scored in Shiraoka. And how often do you say that, right? And that was actually confirmed to be the first or maiden goal of any goalkeeper playing right here in the Philippines Football League. Finn McDaniel is also coming off a 5-goal performance here for them. Galiana Trujillo and Stefan Track also got to bag 2 assists each in Maharlika, out to bounce back from that 4-1 defeat to the Cebu Gentle Giants. Also, we have an extra Minsan Football show episode. We'll get into detail in a bit. It was initially, of course, deemed the episode we had earlier this week was going to be the last. But of course, we have more here, given that we are nearing the Christmas and Southeast Asian Games break. Well, we are eventually going to take this down to the pitch for our pre-release. And let's get to it, of course. Dini Barley, your captain, on the left for Maharlika. Manieras in pink and white for Stallion Laguna. And with our match officials, si Raymar de los Santos ay ang referee natin at sila Jose Magusara at Romario de la Cruz ay ang kanyang assistants. Si Rodney Labele ay ang fourth official. Si Roberto Hernandez ay ang referee assessor. And si Mr. Markian Baldo ay ang ating match commissioner. Here we go. Let's get to it again. The starting 11. And Maharlika looking to utilize that 4-4-2 anchored by Menzi.
Yeah, of course, it's their lineup that has been, well, barring a few changes, of course, lineup that has helped them reach 4 wins this season, but at the same time, 4 losses towards other Big Six rivals. This match is going to be really interesting because it's 6th versus 7th. Dikit-dikit sila sa table eh. And that might mean there's more incentive in this one. It's more than 3 points. It becomes a 6-pointer because whoever wins this, you take 3 points away from your opponent as well. As we see the Stallion lineup, which has so many stalwarts. And it's no surprise to see this group of players starting. We want to highlight, of course, Stefan Schrock, but also the front line, which has been electric for Stallion this season.
And a look at our game changers. And you see, of course, and Jack Landreth is back to man the posts as he was given time on the bench in that 8-0 win of theirs versus Don Bosco Carelia United. Dini Watara will also be starting this game on the bench, of course. The thing here with Watara and Palomo is that these two can start for any team. So that's some depth that they have here. Mike Menzi pictured. Whoever loses again will drop down to 7th again. Because if the season ended this weekend, or if the regular season, you could say, ended this weekend, the loser will be out of the championship round. But essentially, we still have the first round to finish, which we will be able to do so in January. After that, we'll have the second round. And then that's when the top 6 teams will be put in a group of their own for the championship round. If they lose here, or whoever loses, they'll be looking back at this game in the long run. Stallion Laguna in pink and white. Maharlika in blue and black.
Well, Maharlika, in the opening minutes against Cebu, they conceded to an OLED header. They have to make a better start against Stallion, because that type of start against a big team will punish you for the rest of the 90.
Other than Noah Liddell, the goal scorers for Cebu in that win over Maharlika were Rico Andes, Fatih Kodoy Zora, and Anderson Pinto. The lone goal scorer for Maharlika in the game, as they looked to slice the defense, was Ivan Wano, but that was late already and was a mere consolation. It's been some time actually since Ivan Wano last scored, and he is in the starting 11. Back-to-back goals, let's see, or scoring in back-to-back games, it's all up to him. Shraki under pressure, takes a number of tumbles, he's heated. Shraki felt that was excessive, giving Opong an earful.
Well, I'm 100% sure that the message would have been not to give any time and space for Stefan Schrock, but clearly see the foul there on Stefan Schrock, who's playing with his collar up, as is his usual get-up. But yeah, you see it there. Maharlika are going to be extra hard on the number 17 tonight.
Seemed a little extra from Opong, we will say. Shraki is well on the ground. What he tried to do, just clip the legs, of course, of the former Philippines captain. Kedman is trying to apply pressure. Doesn't win it for them though. Trying to make them uncomfortable. But as play will resume from the back, an interesting person is actually in the technical area of Stallion. The man himself, Abe, Mr. Incredible Placito, serving as one of the team trainers for Coach Ernie. He did help their women's side in the AFC Women's Champions League group stage, where Stallion did get to advance as a best third placer. I was too close for comfort, of course, but in that scenario, Stallion's women's team made every goal count. Congratulations to them, of course, for advancing. And Shraki, a bit of a slide. Dine Barley hit the ground, and the foul is called. It will be a free kick on the left.
I'm actually looking at the height difference at the moment. It's quite even, which means that perhaps Maharlika can use this to their advantage, because they were disadvantaged against Cebu. This time, however, it's a bit of an even playing field, so they could take advantage of a set piece. And here, they get one just in the 3rd minute.
Disadvantage against Cebu because of their not-so-gentle giants, right? As we know, with their style of play and the personnel that they bring. Maharlika again coming off back-to-back losses. Now's the time for him to get a win. You're 6 and an early one here. And we're seeing that it's in Mike Menzie. Going to take this, no doubt about that. Let's take a look at our quad vision replay.
Well, just as I was saying that they could take advantage of a set piece, they do. It's really messy from Stallion's backline. They just get thrown off by the initial header, which came from Owano, it looked like. But in the end, it's Mike Menzie, the former Stallion player, with the final contact. And we marked him as the player to watch because of his defensive capabilities. But it's actually his offensive output that has gained Maharlika the lead just 4 minutes in.
Very common from Mike to get forward in the attack. That's how he was actually named a man of the match in one of their games earlier this season. We've seen early goals today right here in our second game and in this game right now at the Rizal Memorial Stadium.
Oh, that is a heavy challenge.
Galiana Trujillo hit the floor hard. McDaniel tried to get it to Kedman. Will play it to Finn. Poked away. It was stopped though by Park himself. Listed as right back though. Let's see though how they essentially shaped up. And then you have Ferrer Jr. playing left back.
Maharlika conceded early against Cebu. They've made the best start possible this time around, but they need to be careful not to get too excited and just lose their focus a little bit. They need to make sure they maintain that concentration.
Here comes the corner kick. Shraki couldn't get it. It went to the Balobo. That was Kevin Pratt getting that shot at target. Just 6 it's in. But the early goals we have seen today in this game and in the previous game, definitely not the fastest in this season. Some of the fastest goals were scored within the first minute.
Again, for Maharlika, this is also a scenario they've already found themselves in this season because they also took the lead against Manila Digger and they ended up losing that match. It was a tightly contested match, of course, but again, Maharlika, they've been in this scenario before. Let's see if they've learned their lessons from their past experiences.
And Digger did bag crucial goals to end the first half versus Maharlika in that game that was weeks back. Kang was fouled, that's why they will get to resume play here. Seemed that Nieras was not on the same page here as his teammate, as Denzel Vasquez drifting over to the left. They'll play this one relatively short. Kim just dropped back. They're playing total football. Ebarle trying to get it. Kedman got it to Ricky Sendra. Oh, Sendra hit in the ankle, giving Dean Ebarle an earful. What a way to start this game. We've seen some heavy collisions here and there, about 3 or 4 of them already.
Yeah, and a lot of early words already being exchanged. You can see Ricky Sender there. Has a lot to say about that previous scenario. It's interesting that you pointed it out already, Claro. But Kang, who's usually listed as a right back, looks like he'll be playing as a winger this time around. So it's a tactical tweak from Coach Moon Hong. Of course, he is left-footed, so that means he's gonna go up against Matt Nieras, who is right-footed.
Trying to send it forward now to Kim. Secured by Ken Pride. There's the intention to press here from Maharlika. Coach Moon Hong, I believe, wanted offside, but they win it back. Aurelio Raza play against the very team again wherein he got his AFC appearances. Matt Nieras giving us a hard challenge or a hard tackle. Trademark from him, whether he gets the ball or not, he's always going to give his all.
Well, it was a completely 50-50 duel. Byung-Sok Kang got to it first, and with the acceleration and power that Nieras had going into that challenge, couldn't get out of it. The referee is gonna be a bit lenient here, not pull out any cards in this opening 8 minutes. But I think that's exactly what Maharlika are asking for.
We've witnessed both sides, of course, ask for early yellow cards. Finn McDaniel is keeping Dean Ebarle away from Shraki. Ferrer Jr. will carry this on. There's a lot of bad blood here also because Maharlika, who were rebuilding in the second half last season, did hold Stallion to a goalless draw. Ricky Sendra saying that the studs were up when Galiana Trujillo hit the floor.
Well,
we've seen a foul like every 30-45 seconds.
just as you said it, Claro, we've seen a foul so many times already, and the emotions, you can just feel it, are getting higher and higher as the game goes on. I think both teams just need to be a little careful not to get too emotional, because that could, of course, cost you some way or another.
Whoever manages things, of course, mentally, will win this game. We were saying this, of course, as we are adjusting with the way this game has been played. So going back, that goalless draw between Maharlika and Stallion last season in the second half, that derailed the bid of Stallion Laguna to at least make it to the top 4 and battle for a Shopee Cup ASEAN Club Championship spot. Even for the league title, you will say. Shraki putting the pressure. Just when you thought he was going to win it, someone hits the deck again. Everyone dropping like flies. But we have seen the physicality in this one.
I think that was a foul, mainly out of frustration from Stefan Schrock. And I think he's especially frustrated because he's not getting a lot of the ball. And I'm just noticing actually from Maharlika that especially Opong, they're just sticking glued to Stefan Schrock whenever Stallion have the ball. That's how tightly they're man marking him at the moment.
And they'll try to stop that central midfielder of theirs. Secured by Aaron Vasquez. You have Aaron Vasquez and Denzel Vasquez, both in the starting 11 for Coach Cherney. Villarreal will slide it to Ken Pride. Shraki couldn't offer himself as an option. They tried to get it to Finn quickly. But it's with Palobo. We'll just try to waste some time. They can manage this game again because they lead 1-0 thanks to the early goal of Mike Menzi connecting off that free kick on the left. We also have the FIFA Futsal Women's World Cup going on. Head to fifa.com/tickets for more. The quarterfinals will already begin on Monday. Unfortunately, the Filipino 5 are already eliminated. But just, of course, we still have that tournament to carry on. Do support Philippine football and futsal all together, of course. And we'll see you at the games. Shraki now floored. Final warning is issued to Opong. You could see with the hand signals of referee Raymar de los Santos. Opong saying there was a forearm at him.
There you see it again. As I mentioned just a couple minutes ago, Daniel Opong is glued to Stefan Schrock. It's a purely man-marking job. And when it's not Opong on Stefan Schrock, it's actually Dina Barle doing the same job. So the instruction is really clear from Coach Moon Hong. Don't let Schrock get space. Because he is obviously the player that if he gives space to, he will punish you.
Sometimes you'll just have that man tasked with following him around, right? As opposed to just playing with your formation. As there is a slide from Mike Menzi. Dini Barle. It's up for grabs. It goes to Ken Pride though. So we were mentioning earlier, we are going to have an additional episode for the Minsan Football Show on Thursday. We are going to have a discussion on the FIFA Futsal Women's World Cup. And we are going to cover and unwrap a handful there. We have our Minsan Football Show whenever we have games on the weekend, but the upcoming episode is a special one again. No more games next week for the PFL, pero may Minsan Football. Palobo will switch off of Aaron Vasquez. It's Maharlika in blue and black, playing from left to right now. Trying to drop something on the attack. Gumsok did shift wing. Trying to take on Nieras. Ken Pride also there to support. The clearance there from Villarreal. Ferrer Jr. trying to go for it. Deflected off of Nieras, but Landreth secured.
Really positive play here from Byung-Sok Kang. You can see he's just questioning the positioning of Matt Nieras constantly. There was actually a push on Stefan Schrock there.
There's also Dine Barle who fell earlier. There was no call. Everyone trying to plead their case to our referee, Raymar de los Santos. And we are just a quarter of an hour in. There's that fine line now here between tensions just exploding. Ferrer Jr. shifted gear and tried to defend the throw-in for a bit. Low cross now. Stallion couldn't get it to their main man. Bumsuk will recover. Dine Barle could not send it back because they were not in the same wavelength.
You can just see Mike Menzi is also the center back. Just keeping a close eye on Finn McDaniel. Again, another player from Stallion don't want to give any time and space to. And to be honest, Maharlika have been successful in the opening 15 minutes or so.
Shraki played it long to Kedman. Sent out by Rilio Raza. We did acknowledge earlier that Ivan Oano did score the lone goal of Maharlika in their 4-1 loss to Cebu, but in that 8th 1-0 win of Stallion over Don Bosco Garelli. Finn McDaniel bagged 5 goals. He missed a good number of games, of course. He returned to the squad right before the transfer window closed. He leads the league now with 14 goals. The ball will stay here with Stallion, the team in pink and white.
Maharlika look dangerous when they get back the ball. They create transitionary runs. You can actually see Ivan Uano. Whenever Maharlika gets the ball, Ivan Uano just starts sprinting down towards the penalty box of Stallion, and he gets in behind. So Stallion have to be careful that when they lose the ball, they're not caught out by the immediate counterattacks from Maharlika.
Uano, a natural striker, but he's playing on the left today. Loose pass from Dodong Villarreal. He sends his apologies to Coach Ernie. And Sports Tribe, of course, is the official match ball of the PFL. Also give us a follow on TikTok _ we are PFL _ for more of your fix. Trying to play it on the ground now. It went the way here of Maharlika.
What a pass.
Switching it up to the right. Bumsok causing havoc. He'll up to cut inside and test Landreth as this is not framed.
Again, Bumsok Kang is asking a lot of questions, and that was also a really good attack from Maharlika because it started from their own half. One long switch of play, and they were already in behind. So the game plan is really clear. It's crystal clear, in fact, from Maharlika.
And as they try to play to Shiraki, Dine Barles, the man marking him now. So essentially, Maharlika are in that midfield block. Tapos si Barle, susundan lang niya si Shiraki. As it's a whistle against Dean, the captain. And Maharlika without Joel Aristorenas. He's on the bench, so he could potentially check in. But he is not in the starting 11, just to clarify that thought. Here comes Kedman. Oh! Henry Balobo gives us a highlight. Sent it over. He's not celebrating that one. And the reason why, of course, is because we're only on level terms. Balobo wanted a call, but he was caught out of position.
Well, for those of you not in the stadium, there are so many shouts of handball coming from the Maharlika contingent. Of course, whether or not it actually was, I don't think we can actually see from this angle. It was a very gray area play, but the referee has opted to give it. But the finish itself was exquisite because he just saw Balobo off his line, and Michael Kedman is going to get his 3rd goal of the season.
Just took them, of course, about a quarter of an hour to mount a response. And it's a similar flow for Maharlika. They get a goal, and they melt down. Will it be the same case here? Nothing Coach Moon Hong could do here. As off camera, he is voicing his opinion.
Well, I tell you what, they have to be really careful here, Maharlika, because their emotions after conceding that goal are running red hot, and you know, dangerous things can happen in football when you do too much things with emotion. Just need to be careful here not to concede more chances to Stallion, because there was a really easy chance for Stallion. They just created it with a long ball over the top, and it led to a goal.
Denzel Vasquez tried to get it to his brother Aaron. Away we go in the counterattack, although they are a bit tentative. They're bringing it up the left now. Options inside to cross. Corner kick here, according to our assistant referee. "20 minutes done and dusted in the first half, and we've witnessed 2 goals. And as you said, Diego Michael Kedman leveled things. Or because he leveled things, he has his 3rd goal of the season. corner once more. Maharlika did score under similar circumstances. It was a free kick from the left. Mike Menzie just sent that ball home. Chance once more. There's Kedman and McDaniel lurking. Defensive header from Galeana Trujillo. Bumsok will return it to the left and will get it back. It was loose. Kedman will collect. Trying to get it to Finn now. Flag stays down. It went to Matt Nieras. Thought about squaring it, but the opposing number 3 in Bumsok Kang is going to connect as this ball is definitely out.
Matt Nieras, the left back, not too sure what he's doing on the end of that move. That was another really good chance for Stallion, and it came similar to their goal. They just sent it in behind and used their pace. And I tell you what, they have a lot of pace across their whole team.
But both teams were disorganized again. They weren't in their usual formation setup because that was a free kick. And Nieras now back to his usual left back. So yan yung dahilan kung bakit tumakbo si Nieras sa kanan, or why he stormed all the way up. Clever ball here. Ken Pride gets to collect. And so Kang piled up the pressure though. That is why Ken Pride just sent it out and long to safety.
Interesting thing actually on Ken Pride is he has the most minutes also across anyone in the Stallion side. That's how undervalued he might be by PFL fans, because I'm not sure a lot of PFL fans would have known that, because he is one of their crucial players along with the likes of McDaniel, Schrock, and Kedman. He just guides the backline also towards thwarting those attacks. And he's stepped into a really good player this season so far for Stallion.
Ken Pride is already in his second stint with the team also. And they've retained that core, of course, from their international stint of the men's team of Stallion. As this ball is unable to connect, it'll be Aurelio Razo throw-in. Balobos waving that off. They want more numbers at the back because Laguna had that intention to mount up the pressure. Expect Ferrer Jr. to take this long. Kedman just gave it away. Won it back somehow, showing us his skill. Took a hit from Dini Barle. Nieras will get it to Shraki. But it's the numbers of Maharlika in that quadrant that got the stop. But now they're being left uncomfortable. Nieras putting in the work. Maharlika now in the deeper hole as this throw-in is much, much closer now to the corner kick spot.
Yeah, good pressure from Stallion. They've raised their intensity up a notch. And they're just forcing back Maharlika in their build-up play. Maharlika, a team that want to play possession style. They play with the ball on the ground predominantly.
A whistle once more. This will go the way of Ricky Sendra, who is still down on the ground. Earlier today, Sekou Cisse bagged 4 goals, and that is why he has 10 now. He has 4 behind Finn McDaniel.
The Golden Boot race heating up. By the way, Opong is edging ever so closely to another yellow card. Schrock getting involved as well. Oh, I tell you what,
Now they are opting to lock their horns, figuratively. Both will receive a yellow here. Shraki Dini Barle in the books of our referee.
I tell you what, that was coming. It's been coming ever since the game started.
Well, we were saying there's that fine line that is just keeping things in check between calm and tensions exploding here at the Rizal Memorial Stadium. My turn, your turn. Dini Barle and Opong will take turns in marking Shraki. It's a Finn McDaniel free kick. Too far to blast this one. If it were slightly closer, we've seen Finn McDaniel score from a similar distance. If it were slightly closer again,
obvious targets are Ken Pride, Ricky Sendra, for Finn McDaniel to hit that. But the referee just making sure there's not extra pushing and shoving going on.
Which is something you always see, of course, in any game. What more? In a battle like this, where the winner will slide down to 7th and will be out of the top 6 heading into the Christmas break and SEA Games break. As another one here went in front of the mouth of the goal. Mashraki could not reach that. But you see the athleticism. He just tried to go for it and reach it in all his might.
Yeah, Stefan Schuck having to do some heavy improvisation this game, because he is being closely followed by his opponents. Nevertheless, you do imagine that even because of that, his quality will shine through and he'll be able to create 1 or 2 chances for himself. Nearly did so in that previous sequence.
Confirmation of the yellows issued to Didi Barley and Stefan Schrock. And in terms of clean sheets, Jack Landreth with 2 for the meantime. Milos Chupic and Freddy Cortez of Fuantegig and Kaya respectively lead this season for the meantime with 5 each.
Also tell you that I really believe Jack Landreth is a really good signing for Stallion. And you know, that's the usual thing with Stallion. They have this smart network of scouts that give them good signings. And yeah, Jack Landreth has really become one of the PFL's best goalkeepers. Has a penalty save also. I think he saved the penalty from Janjan Meliza of Kaya. He's a really talented and young goalkeeper.
Well, they want to translate that to wins and performances in the table. Sometimes there's that hard luck, as we know, for any individual. Unable to translate any performances into results as Shraki takes a hit from behind. And it's from Young-suk. We've seen these Koreans, of course, go for physical play. And in that Maharlika versus Tigger game, we've seen them also. Or what they were doing to Stefan Schrock, yan din. That's what they were doing to Kenji Nishoka.
Yeah, this one came from Young-suk Kang. I've actually spoken to 1 or 2 players from Cebu, and one of the things they always said was, Young-suk Kang, he's not big, but he's actually really strong. And you see it here, but actually he ends up being too strong for that play. And it's an obvious foul on Stefan Schrock, who, I don't know if there's a stat for this, but he's probably the most fouled player in this game so far.
I wouldn't be surprised. But whenever you see a strong player, how often do you get to the gym? Answer, yes. Now this one in Finn McDaniel territory. The anticipation in the stands as Laguna are looking to make it 2-1.
He scored a free kick against Don Bosco Garelli as well from the opposite side, but he hit it far post and it bounced off the post and in. So he'll be looking to keep that free kick goal scoring farm ongoing. Let's see. It is quite some way out, but there is definitely the option to shoot.
No longer wearing the number 8, but is donning the number 14. He did say, of course, because that number is unavailable now in that squad of theirs. It's all up to Finn McDaniel, a player with caps or appearances for the Philippines. Slipped past the wall, but as it ricocheted, that killed the power. And very routine for Kenry Balobo.
Yung Maharlika escaped another set piece. They have to be careful though, because if they keep giving away set pieces to Stallion, you have the likes of Finn McDaniel and Stefan Schrock, who can deliver those passes in or take shots on goal.
They sent this one out desperately. Somehow, Opong was able to keep it with them. And I spoke too soon. Ricky Sendra. Shraki, clever ball to Finn. Defense clamping him down. He tried to swing for it, and Mike Menzie did clip him.
I'll tell you what, that is a brilliant challenge from Mike Menzie, the goal scorer, doing his work the other end. For a second here, it looks like Finn McDaniel is going to race away with his pace. He goes for the shot early, but Mike Menzie actually sliding in, and you see the foul there.
The second motion from Finn. Well, first, of course, before we resume playing, we've been talking about clean sheets. When we mentioned Landers, of course we do, as is the case with Kenry Balobo of Maharlika and of the team of Coach Moon Hong from Korea. Balobo gets us underway once more. Young-Sok couldn't get to Owano on the left. Will play a bit of head tennis. Ricky Sendra, one of the Argentinians in the squad here. I'm sure they're keeping tabs on the FIFA Futsal Women's World Cup. Argentina actually in the quarterfinals there. They were in the same group as the Philippines. Now Ken Pride will get it back to Shraki. Taking on his man. Got it to Kedman. Clever here. Shraki somehow gets it from Dine Barle, who is last touch. Assistant referee initially said Stallion ball. Or Neymar de los Santos did have a better vantage point there.
Here it was. Very tightly contested duel. Schrock showing his own strength. Can't tell actually from that angle.
Pass was loose. Vasquez hurt in the shin. Maharlika and their players felt that there was no foul. But this went to the shin, of course, but I don't think the shin guards cover that part of any player's lower leg.
Some words being exchanged between Ricky Sendra and the coaching staff and technical area of Maharlika. The game is really heating up. There's a yellow card also to, is that Ferrer Jr.?
Well, it was Ferrer Jr. who did clip the shin. Coach Moon Hong will have to be careful. He does not want to get into the books of our referee. Denzel Vasquez being attended to now. "13 minutes remaining in the first half." Our goal scorers again from Michael Kedman cancelled out that early goal of Mike Menzie.
Well, not that I expected it to happen, but I'm not surprised also, given the way there have been so many fouls in this match, that eventually one player, in the case of Stallion, player goes down and is still down, needing a little bit of that magic spray. I think both teams just have to be a little bit careful now, because you have players from both sides just flying into tackles. It's a bit dangerous, honestly, because players could get injured. And yeah, the referee having dish out multiple yellow cards already in this first half.
Tensions rising bit by bit. Vasquez, the Filipino-Canadian who did get more than clipped. To say clipped is an understatement from Nicholas Ferrer Jr. Back on his feet, slow to get up. We will see some time added on, of course, to make up for the stoppage. And there is Shraki and his best friend, Opong. And Stallion will be down to 10 players temporarily. It's Laguna in pink and white. Maharlika in blue and black. A big thank you for joining us on the Facebook and YouTube pages of the PFL. Alongside Diego Cordero, this is Claro Manzano. Ken Pride will try to thread the needle. Perhaps too clever, and Kedman cannot reach it, but the intention was definitely there. As Vasquez will re-enter the pitch, Denzel is okay to continue. Sandra gets this from the man also donning the number 6 jersey, Waito Galeana Trujillo. He'll cross it as expected. Shraki though, this takes a bounce and is out. Too close for comfort for Maharlika.
Yeah, Stefan Schrock. It was a really tough chance, in all honesty, to get that header on target. It was a really high cross. But again, he just broke free of his best friend, we should say, and found a pocket of space to attack that cross. I think the thing is with Stefan Schrock is he's going to be limited in the type of chances he gets because he is being followed so closely. What a goal kick that was.
Ferrer getting it from his fellow FEU Tamarao and Mike. And I was about to say that goal kick was short, but Ferrer secured that well. Divine touch, we will say.
The interesting thing about this man marking job on Stefan Schrock, even if he's running away from the ball, Opong is going to follow him ever so closely. That's how tight he's going to stick to Stefan Schrock.
In situations like these, you gotta do what you gotta do. Ken Pride looking for options. They will cycle it at the back now. They are pushing this Maharlika midfield block bit by bit. Oh, flicked here by Shraki to Galiana Trujillo. Balobo timed that run well and got it inside the box.
You could just see Stefan Schrock trying to improvise because he has to pick up the ball in areas that he is quite deep, again, because of the man marking job. But here he is now.
Yana's got it to Shraki, slithering through. Kedman, will it be another one or will he assist? Up against Ferrer Jr. I'm hearing it's a goal kick, though let's clarify because our referee Raymar de los Santos is pointing to the corner kick spot.
Looks like a free kick actually.
It will be from the left. Parang corner kick na madaya ito, di ba? Mas malapit. 8 minutes and change remaining right here. Are we going to break the deadlock in the first half? Or will we enter the halftime mark in level terms? It's all up to Finn McDaniel now. Options in the box. It appears to be man marking here, Diego, for Maharlika. Here's the signal. Aurelio Raza read that well, of course. But from a free kick deep on the left, you say it upgrades to a corner kick. They are mounting the pressure.
Well, it might be different this time actually because they're going to go short.
Shraki from one. Tried to use Shraki's individual prowess, but he got it to Kedman, who up to take a rocket that was off.
He just tried to catch Maharlika off guard with that short corner. Kedman actually had a lot of space, but he couldn't get the shot on target. And it's a goal kick to Maharlika. It's actually interesting to watch the goal kicks of Maharlika because they have these certain patterns that they work on. Here's another one.
Essentially, it's that intent to play it short, but sometimes you play with fire. As there's a late whistle now that is given to the frustration of Maharlika, as much as it was called. It seems though it is to the high part of the lower leg, right below the knee. But we got a yellow card that was dished out also.
Ken Pride gets himself into the book, and this game honestly has already had a lot of yellow cards, and I wouldn't be surprised if there are more for the rest of the first half and the second half. Referee is gonna confirm it. Ken Pride is gonna get that yellow card, and it's a bit of a dangerous situation actually if you're a defender and you get a yellow card quite early on in the match because you're gonna have to play the rest of the match on thin ice because one more foul and you could be in some real trouble.
I will say I am surprised myself that these Korean players of Maharlika are on the receiving end of harsh challenges. Because oftentimes you will see them being the physical players. Is it only now that you're seeing a team just take the physicality to them?
I think that was the message, to be completely honest. And yeah, I think not that it's the right thing to do, but I think that's just Stallion's form of imposing themselves on their opponents because they don't want to be the ones bullied, they want to be the ones doing the bullying. And that's why there's been so many fouls in this match.
As they knocked it here, it was secured in open space. Opong had the intention to play it back. Owano will secure. They're still persisting on the left as they're trying to cut inside. That stop appeared to be all ball. As Juan Galeana Trujillo will get it the other way now. And I will raise Manila Digger because they are one of the physical teams. And when I covered that Maharlika Digger game, Digger were imposing their physicality to be able to get the balls into the attacking third, as opposed to what we're seeing, fouls in the midfield. As the flag is raised for Kedman and Stallion.
Kedman, it's very clear his role in this team. It's to use his pace, because over the distance of perhaps 15 to 20 yards, his acceleration is really hard to deal with for opposite fullbacks. And yeah, that's why Kedman has been such a good addition to the Stallion team. Has one cap also for Trinidad and Tobago. That's how high he's reached in his career.
But would you believe Kedman not the first international Trinidad and Tobago to make it here to the PFL? And Carline Mitchell, formerly with KFC Iloilo, and a former Major League Soccer player. Was the first man, of course. Beat him out by about 5 years. Are there other nationalities also being represented here earlier? Fatih Kodoy Dodzora, not the first Tajikistani. Amir Jurabwe paved the path for him, you could say.
Just what we're talking about, it's nice to see that there are high-level international players also coming to the PFL. I actually believe number 6 of Maharlika, si Young Sok Kang, was a former under-16 South Korea international. So there's another international representation there. And yeah, it's becoming more common actually to see in the PFL.
Which we like, of course. Ferrer Jr. will assess his options first. He got it as far as possible. Nieres got the clearance, but it went to an opposing man in Yongsuk Kang. Dodong Villarreal, shaky here. Lost it, gave it over to Opong. Owano, denied by Landred, follow up. The keeper able to come up with a double save.
Well, we were talking earlier about his clean sheet count and the fact that he's been such a good addition to Stallion, and it's because of his shot stopping in scenarios like this. The first one is a really good save, but the second one, you can see the reflexes bail out Stallion's backline, and it's still going to be 1-1, and that's purely down to Jack Landreth.
You could expect this even Steven-like game. Both teams taking it to the other. But when it comes to offense, Stallion with 25 goals scored as opposed to the 20 of Maharlika in this season. Both are in the middle of the table in that offensive category. Ashraki though winning this. Ricky Sendra, will he make it a business day on the weekend? Kedman got control, but he was on an island. As they head this to Henry Balobo, they knew what they were doing.
Just a bit curious to find out. I believe Coach Ernie Nieres has just called Ivanovsky back from the warm-up area. And he was warming up on his own. Again, football in substitutions. Substitutes warm up in groups unless they've been told that they're going to come on quite quickly. And he's been called back, so I'm wondering who's injured or coming off. I'm hearing also that there's going to be a substitution. I'm really curious who's going to come off for Stallion.
Also interesting because they're going to trigger the sub before halftime. So you're going to consume a window or an opportunity as opposed to coming out of halftime libre, as we know. And it's got to be that urgent though. We're 20 seconds away from additional time. His ball sent long. You could see the frustration from Kim. The clap of the hands, of course, to express that he wasn't happy with that play. Shraki from Villarreal. He was clipped by Kim. There you go, just confirmed by Rodney Leble. Pressure being mounted by Aaron Vasquez. He will force that Maharlika throw in from deep. That is something tough to navigate, as we know, throw-ins from deep.
Yeah, because you actually attract a lot of pressure into your own corner, so you get trapped by the opposite team in that regard. Just on that substitution development, I believe I've just seen Coach Ernie Nieres also signal to the bench that he's gonna instead use the halftime window instead, just so that they don't burn up a substitution window, which we were talking about actually.
Shraki from Sendra got denied by Mike Menzie. Not so sure how to describe that, of course, from Denzel Vasquez. Grass cutter, you will say. Unsuccessful in the challenge. Shraki is down though. And we do know from his time with the Philippine men's national football team, Shraki does have a high tolerance for pain. And he played injured in the end of the 2014 Challenge Cup where the Philippines bagged bronze.
And he's also the type of player opposition probably like to foul more of, just because he is that good. You want to get him off his rhythm. You want to get into his head. Of course, he's experienced all of that throughout his long career.
Well, he is most likely to get into the head of his opponent first, as much as someone wants to do it. 1-1 is the score as we are nearing the halftime break. Will they sneak one in, or will we enter again on level terms? Stallion in possession now in pink and white. Maharlika behind the ball, playing from left to right in blue and black. Shraki knocked it back. Villarreal to Sendra. Gave it to the right. Ricky.
I think both teams are going to settle into the halftime break. They're going to accept this 1-1 draw and regroup, because it has been a really fast-paced and intense first half. And honestly, both teams could do with a breather.
Shraki got the release, but it went off of Rilio Raza. Got the clearance. Left the backline uncomfortable. Oana almost got it though, over Aaron Vasquez. We've been seeing plenty of these challenges, of course. You see ill-timed, they're very aggressive. And this was dummied by Kim. Didn't work out though. Execution off. Finn McDaniel offside here.
Finn McDaniel has been really limited in this first half. Most of his best chances came from the fact that he took the set pieces. But in terms of open play, he's been guarded really closely, especially by Mike Menzie, as we see the halftime whistle. And just as I was saying, Shrek actually goes down, so I won't be surprised if throughout the halftime break he is the substitute that Ivanovsky is going to come on for.
It is that left leg that is bothering Shraki. As there's some pictures there. You can see the tension from our two teams. 1-1 at the break between Maharlika and Stallion Laguna. Mike Menzie's goal was cancelled out by Michael Kedman. And we'll see you in a bit, of course, for our statistics and highlights. Halftime at the Rizal Memorial Stadium, and we are level at 1-1 here. Mike Menzie gave us that early goal, while Michael Kedman did cancel that one out. The Michaels here, Jago, able to score right here for the meantime in our heated game, and that word is an understatement just to describe things.
Yeah, this game, it's felt like it's gone at 100 miles per hour. Here's the goal of Mike Menzie that opened things up. It was a set piece. In Maharlika, using their advantage in set pieces, Mike Menzie scored 2 corners or 2 set pieces already this season against Tuloy. He continues it against Stallion. No celebration, of course, because he's a former Stallion player. It was just a good delivery, but Mike Menzie, you can see his late run into the 6-yard box was untracked, and that's why he got the simple finish. And there was a lot of heated action throughout this first half, a lot of words being exchanged. Here was the goal of Kedman. A lot of arguments saying handball, but the finish, no arguing about that because that was a really good chip over Balobo, who was off his line.
Top class right here. Sending it over the keeper. Owano also knocked on the door, as we got to see here, but Landra just giving us a highlight, double save.
And Jack Landreth, again, continuing his good form. He's been such a good addition to the Stallion side. As you see the stats, I think there's a typo in there, but shot count quite even by my count. And possession, Stallion with more, but Maharlika, to be fair, have also created the chances when they have had possession. We'll correct that shot count, but by my count, it is a quite even first half.
A total of 6 yellow cards. And if you ended a game with 6 yellow cards, that would already be a lot. And what more with the fouls? In theory, let's say, if we finish with 22 fouls, that's a lot at full time. And we are only at the halftime break.
Yeah, the referee, si Raymart De Los Santos, he's had to give out multiple yellow cards already in the first half. And if the second half is going to go at the same pace and intensity as the first half did, I would not be surprised if more yellow cards are dished out. And because so many players are on a yellow card, that also ups the percentage of chance that we'll see a red card in this match. Both teams have to be careful that they don't get so heated and caught up in the battle that they end up losing a player to a red card.
The cooler heads will prevail because you could dictate this game all you want in search of that elusive go-ahead goal. But all of that will be flipped or will go down the drain if somebody gets a red card. We are expecting the likes of Christian Papi Ivanovsky to enter the game, as is the case with Stephen Banner. 2 foreign players will be checking in for Coach Ernie. And based on what we are seeing, no changes for Maharlika coming out of the dugout.
Coach Moon Hong keeping his cards for now, but there is a lot of options on the bench of Maharlika that he could turn to for the second half. You have the likes of Ibrahim, Icanto, Aristorenas, Uzoka also. So there's a lot of possible wild cards off the bench for Maharlika to change things up, because you would imagine, given the pace this game is going, that sooner or later one of your players or a couple of your players are going to tire out, and that would be a good time for substitutions.
And the reason why we are mentioning the bench of Maharlika here is because Laguna already pulled the trigger to make their changes. Banner, a defender, Ivanovsky, a midfielder or an attacking player. Seems like the 2 Argentinians here, Stallion, will be playing together. That's Sendra and Ivanovsky.
What's going to be interesting actually is that with Ivanovsky and Schrock on the pitch at the same time, it means that they have 2 options instead of just one to find that player in that sort of pocket just between the midfield and attack. Actually, looks like Ivanovsky will be in midfield.
And there's a look at the bench, of course, and joining Coach Ernie Nieras and Mr. Filbert Alquiros. And we mentioned A. Placito himself joining now as a trainer, given that he recently supported the women's side also in the same role. The women's team of Stallion did advance to the knockout stages of the AFC Women's Champions League. The first touch here for Ivanovsky in the game. Couldn't control that. Let's see if Ivanovsky will be at his 100% or will be able to impact the game. Because when he was around in that shortened 2024 season, I was actually told that he was playing a bit hurt. He wasn't at 100%. That happens to a lot of these players, actually. Here comes Papi. Run into traffic. Mike Menzi still with that groove. A banner at the back to give them that aerial presence.
It's going to be a midfield trio now of Ivanovsky, Sender, and Schrock. That is a really experienced midfield three, and you hope, if you're Coach Ernie, you'd be hoping that their wisdom is going to prevail over Maharlika's younger midfield. And it just gives an option also for Stallion to go through Ivanovsky, put less reliance also on Stefan Schrock as the creative outlet of the team.
And both Schrock and Ivanovsky do have a similar skill set, we will say. Over to Papi now. Seems they are putting him at right back. I'll check that. He just slid over because Matt Nieras is getting forward. No whistle here between Dina Barley and Shraki. Away we go now. Wide to Owano. Opong hit the floor. I will note also, we did get to see our first foul in the second half, just 45 seconds in.
Opong also went down, and he's asking the referee for that foul back. But I think they'll take it. It's a corner in the end. I think he was dragged by McDaniel. The referee played advantage. Well, just 1 minute in, or 2 minutes into the second half, and the trend that we saw so much of in the first half has continued.
We did mention one Galiana Trujillo is the lead player this season so far in assists, 10. But for Maharlika, there's Kim Jin Hyun with 4 to his name. And Kang Bum Suk close by with 3. Defensive header from Ivanovsky. Over now here, Kim. Getting Nieras to dance. Ivanovsky's there to provide support. Routine from Landoreth. Just killed that momentum or power in the ball with a bounce on the turf. For newcomers, of course, to Philippine football, this game is being played on artificial turf. This pitch was recently renovated in this calendar year as they try to round Nieras. You say everything but the cross, but it still stays in play. It essentially became a switch, and that ball into the 6-yard box of Landreth was easily secured. You'll have the confidence. You say confidence as much as he was calm, but these are reps that goalkeepers go through.
Jack Landreth single-handedly, quite literally, keeping Stallion level in that first half. Pulled off that really good double save against Ivan Owano. Chance maybe here though.
Liana Trujillo over to Kedman. What a stop at the back. And it's Nicolas Ferrer Jr. No surprise, of course, with what he brings to the table. A bit of the back and forth now, just being brought up. Ferrer, a two-way effort. Ball intercepted by Ricky Sendra. And it's with the lone Vasquez brother now on the pitch in Aaron because Denzel was subbed off.
And I think Denzel was also the one that stayed down for a couple of minutes in that first half, following one of those heavy tackles that came from Maharlika. And yeah, no surprise, given that tackle. He has picked up some permanent pain. We wish him all the best though. And yeah, it just means that unfortunately for Stallion, they had to use their substitutions maybe a bit earlier than they would have wanted. But to be fair to them, they also have a deep bench, so it's a good privilege to have.
Both teams playing their last game again of the calendar year before we head over to the Southeast Asian Games in Christmas break. Hasril Yoraza got a timely clearance. Maharlika still have to sit back though. Ivanovsky over on the other side. Shraki. McDaniel. Didn't give it to Kedman, who was slicing in. Pass perhaps was too late. Cleared off by Nathan. Pressure being put on Stephen Banner. He does not falter. Ivanovsky just blowing by 2 defenders. Nieras. Just came off though here. Galiana Trujillo winning it back. Sent the low cross. Aurelio Razara, well aware of that Galiana Trujillo McDaniel connection.
Yeah, it's a connection that hasn't made too many passes together tonight. And that's also credit to Maharlika. And also just pointing out Ivanovsky in the opening 5 minutes in the second half. He's already had a good involvement once or twice. You can just see that his game intelligence is on another level despite his age.
And Landreth wants to send this long. It's to no avail. Owano versus Ivanovsky. There's also Nieras. I'm not so sure about the intentions there. Maybe it would be a cross because that was early.
Yeah, I think the cross from Owano just wasn't hit well enough. Ends up looping over, but that was a good acceleration. Dribble away from Ivanovsky from Ivan Owano. Just noticing that Matt Nieres has, after switching to right back, he's gone back once again to left back. So Coach Ernie Nieres making another tweak. And I think that's a good sign also to have, if you're a big team, that you have players that are comfortable in more than one position, because it adds a little bit more unpredictability in your lineup. And yeah, we're seeing that here again from Stallion.
Well, Matt Nieres did play that left back, right back position for LaSalle last decade in the UAAP. Oh, this ball outside, and Landreth gets the timely clearance.
Good involvement once again from Landreth, not just via his shot stopping, but also his awareness to come out, act as a sweeper keeper like he did there.
Fall inside. Referee Raymar De Los Santos says, get up. Shraki shaking them off. Guard to Kedman. Aurelio Razo once more. Instead of his usual central midfield position, he is playing at the back here for Coach Moon Hong.
And to be fair to him, he's holding a good account of himself in a position that isn't his first choice. Another good involvement there, just keeping close to Kedman, not allowing Kedman to accelerate, because once he accelerates, it's only going to be one winner in a foot race. Yet another foul by Opong on Stefan Schrock. How many times has that happened this evening?
And I like to think they made up about a quarter of the fouls here, or a bit over 25% of the fouls that we got to see. 22 total between the two teams after the first 45. But of course, please remember on December 4, we do have another episode of the Minsan Football Show. It will be a bonus. We will run through the FIFA Futsal Women's World Cup, and we'll be doing some fantastic features on what went on in this first round, you could say, of the PFL season, or what went on right before the Southeast Asian Games Christmas break.
Yeah, what a first round it's been so far. We only have 1 weekend left, but action has been non-stop, and so many teams with ambition so close together in the table. As we see Matt Nieres there taking the throw-in.
Bumsok Kang could not secure that on the right. We have also been delighted by the technical ability of the Korean players of Maharlika in this season so far, not in this game alone. We see the Yongsuk Kang dispossessed Vasquez. Things getting too chippy as there's a foul that will go the way of Stallion. And Owano kicking this one out to the side after the whistle. And he is on his final warning.
Referee Raymar De Los Santos exercising leniency, because we've seen yellow cards given for those types of actions, just kicking the ball away when your opponents have the free kick, because it just delays the game a little bit. But no card there this time from Raymar De Los Santos.
Shraki gave it away cheaply to Kim. Owano through ball and straight over to Aaron Vasquez. Ivanovsky over the top. Galian Trujillo will make it awkward for Kerry Balobo, and that is when the offside flag is raised, as Galian Trujillo opted to get involved with that play.
I'll tell you what, that was a really, really high defensive line from Maharlika in that instance. Just playing the offside trap. When you try to do the offside trap in instances, you have to get it spot on, especially against pacey players who can time their runs better because of their pace.
Maharlika pulling something out of the book of Philippine Army, I will say.
That's right.
That extremely high defensive line.
Risk and reward if you're gonna use a tactic like that, because you squeeze the pitch and apply pressure, but you also leave space behind you. And if you look at the amount of pace that's in the Stallion front line, it's definitely a risk, but Maharlika seem to be taking that risk.
But with what is going on now, you see some momentum and you feel it going the way of Stallion Laguna.
Good possession over the past couple minutes or so from Stallion. Just need a little bit more penetration in their final third. Maharlika on the break though.
Here they come. Young-Soo Kang over to Owano. Squared it. And they bury it. Daniel Romeo Opong makes it 2-1. And we are just 11 minutes into the second half.
Maharlika bench ecstatic. But what about that goal? Transition. That's been the aim of the game so far for them. And this is the perfect transition. Look at that pass from the number 6, Young-Soo Kang. It's perfectly weighted to Owano. And Owano, despite the fact that he's the striker, he's unselfish and he goes for the pass. And Opong, who's been doing a lot of defensive dirty work in this match, doing a lot of man marking, doing a lot of dirty fouls, quote unquote, he's the goal scorer. And at the moment, the game winner.
It is that hustle of his, not just in locking down Stefan Truck, but the support he gave in that attack. You thought Owano was going to go for it, of course. Here comes Opong. Just connecting. And we see, of course, a staff member of Maharlika gets a red right after they score. One of the deputies of Coach Moon Hong.
I think this is one of the coaching staff members who actually ran onto the pitch, and I think that's not allowed in given the rule book we have in football right now. So Raymart De Los Santos issues the game's first yellow card. Surprisingly, it's not to a player.
First red card, check that, yeah.
First red card rather, but I'm not surprised it's come in this game. Again, you imagine that given the way things are going right now, emotions are going to continue to get higher and higher.
It's all just bottled up now. But sadly, for Stallion, to the delight of Maharlika, it's a 2-1 game. And because of the ebb and flow, Stallion left playing catch-up once more.
Stallion will be especially disappointed because that all came from their attack that failed, and they couldn't handle the counter-attack, and there's another one coming right now.
And we were just saying, because momentum was going their way already. Opong and Banner getting tangled up. No call from the referee.
Well, I'll tell you what, Opong is making his stamp on this game. What a contribution he's having so far in these opening 58 minutes. By the way, I want to apologize for saying dirty fouls. I mixed up dirty work and tactical fouls, but yeah,
or playoff-like fouls, sasabihin natin, di ba?
Still down, by the way. He just got up now, and he's going to go back down, so this might be a little bit of concern for Maharlika.
And he is utilizing his opportunity, of course, to milk the clock. And as we have this breather, we'd like to remind you about the FIFA Futsal Women's World Cup. The quarterfinals will kick off on Monday. Head to FIFA.com/tickets for more information. Quite a unique atmosphere, if you ask me, Jago.
Yeah, the atmosphere in all of the Philippines games especially was excellent. Even watching through TV, you could feel the crowd. And Opong is going to get back onto his feet. But the atmosphere also here, really, really electric at the moment. And what a game this has been so far.
The atmosphere here tense, and we were in the comforts of the grandstand. 1 hour already done and dusted. That's 15 minutes into the second half. Fahmi Ibrahim, as expected, is preparing to enter this game. As is the case with Cho Woo Yuk. Those are two foreign players who are lining up. Mike Menzie. Oh, clever here to get this one through. Sandra under pressure. No call. Owano, he did assist that go ahead. Shot from distance. Landry Sodas wide.
Maharlika, with 30 minutes to go, they're now in the driver's seat and in prime control of this match. You have to say it's up to them whether or not they're actually going to take this match, because this is a scenario that they haven't found themselves all too familiar with this season. Went ahead against Manila Digger, then got clawed back. Tonight they went ahead, got clawed back, but they went back ahead. So good character from Maharlika.
Something different from that trend, of course, that we pointed out, as Shraki will try to take it in. Stopped by the team effort. Numbers back for Stallion, but you see Maharlika getting numbers up quickly in that 4-4-2. We are aware that's a formation that can just move fast, especially in transition.
It looks like Ivan Owano, this evening could be finished. Or actually, no, it's not. He is gonna get some treatment. It's actually gonna be...
It's Opong, it's surprising, right?
Well, he has ran his socks off. Did a lot of defensive and towards the latter part of his game, offensive work. And as things stand, he's gonna end the match as the game winner.
Maharlika taking off precious seconds from the clock. Any team would do this, of course, if they were in the lead. Something we would oftentimes acknowledge. And there you go. It is Kang also stepping off along with Opong. To be precise, that is Bumsok Kang who was stepping off.
Ibrahim also is going to come on against his former club. You know, these types of scenarios, you just wonder what you're going to do against, you know, the players that you used to be teammates with. Let's see if Ibrahim is going to affect this game.
Some players are out for the revenge games. Some say there is no bad blood and it's all love. It was all love, Sea-Dog Shafter did say when he got to square off with Stallion, because he is now with Manila Digger.
Looks like actually Ibrahim is going to do a similar job that Opong was doing, but this time on Ivanovsky.
These two players did not get to overlap in the same team, of course. And that is why you see the burden now is on Ken Pride and his fellow defenders. But somehow they got it to Shraki and it was cleared thanks to their defense.
Maharlika, they're defending with a good intensity at the moment. It's a good mid-block, really compact. The lines, not much space in between them, so they need to keep that intensity for the rest of this match.
Galiana Trujillo was dispossessed. Ken Pride once more. He's been pulling the strings at the back for them. Galiana Trujillo to Shraki. Had to track back. Banner. He has that space now, and he uses it. Gets it to Kedman. Right intention there to break the defense, but Kedman could not control.
Kedman and Galiana have just switched sides to maybe ask a little bit more questions differently. Actually seeing that Coach Moon Hong has called the substitution over from the warm-up area, and at the same time Ivan Owano is down. Not for the first time he's down, so you would imagine this could be the end of his evening. Nevertheless, though, it's been a good contribution to this match from Ivan Owano. Got that assist for the go-ahead goal. And I believe it's going to be Eric Giganto who's going to come on for Ivan Owano.
Talk about the quality Eric Giganto will insert if he comes off the bench. But time continues to tick. 25 minutes in change remaining. Oftentimes, we are aware that strikers have to be selfish just to make sure that they bury it. Sometimes there's those moments of being too unselfish. But Owano knew which button to push, and in that instance, he did connect with Opong.
Yeah, what an assist that was, because it looked like for a second he was going to shape up to take the shot.
I thought so too.
And he disguised it so well that no one was going to intercept his pass. And at the moment, it's the game-winning assist. So what a good evening it's been for Ivan Owano. Doesn't always start, but was given the start tonight, and he's repaid that faith.
And we did notice, I did notice personally, he did stop his goal drought in that last game of theirs. So it's that fine form for him that continued well as Maharlika get to stop and give up a corner.
Well, set pieces could be one of Stallion's best avenues forward because the defense is so compact at the moment from Maharlika. You'd imagine set pieces are a direct way of getting over that defense.
It's an outswinger being lined up here for Ivanovsky. A mix of zonal and man marking for Maharlika on that corner kick. And here's Banner trying to keep it for them. Both teams disorganized again as they sent numbers up. And the foul is given. It will go the way of Maharlika.
But as things stand, going into the Christmas break, it means that Stallion are not going to be in the top 6.
That's right.
Which is quite remarkable, really, given the way they've performed really well in this PFL season so far. It's fine margins that have cost them that. Again, the last-minute equalizers to Aguilas, to Manila Digger, and the last-minute loss to Cebu. That's come back to bite them going into the end of round 1.
It's that key to the game that we were mentioning, right? With them being able to put away games so that they're not chasing it where we are goalless. And then all of a sudden, you have a moment where the opposing side just sneaks in a goal, whether it be to take the win or to rescue a draw. The Stallion, let's recall, 30 seconds away from getting that opening day win versus Manila Digger. This one bouncing in. Another chance, and Landreth had to rescue his team once more.
Well, if Stallion are going to get something from out of this game, a lot of the credit will also go to Jack Landreth because he made a double save in the first half. And it's another good show of reflexes here. Let's see this again. There was a chance for Giganto. Landreth really aggressive, and it's his right hand that makes the really crucial save.
Eric Giganto making an instant impact right here, just after coming off the bench. Right-footed service, came off of Banner, cleared off by Aaron Vasquez. 20 minutes in change remaining. It's Maharlika in control. Opong and Menzi, the goal scorers again. Kedman got the lone goal for Stallion. They cut it back.
Ooh.
Shot of Eric Giganto. Follow up. No good for Fami Ibrahim as it was blocked. Cross once more. They go for the scissors. Follow up here. Stop by Nieras at the goal line. And that's not the first time I've seen him get a stop at the goal line in his career.
Well, we're going to need to see this back because what on earth has just happened? How did that ball not go in for Maharlika? How many chances were that?
The answer is Jack Landreth.
Scissor kick, and that save is incredible. Then this.
Game would have gotten extra points for style to add to the goal. Only walking away with a consolation of style. That would have been a highlight. Shraki now gets to break free. Hits it wide to Kedman. McDaniel in the middle. Ivanovsky on the right. Cross was denied by Rilio Raza. He has been a focal point here, and I'm sure his familiarity is playing a factor.
at the moment, it's quite incredible actually, but Finn McDaniel, I don't recall him having any huge chances to score a goal. And so much credit should be given to the back line of Maharlika for that fact. Still 20 minutes to do so though, and of course Finn McDaniel, all he needs is one chance.
It essentially cut off that supply to him. And we'd like to remind you that Sports Tribe is the official match ball of the PFL. Also give us a follow on TikTok _WeArePFL_. As Mike got to secure that in the air. And Yong So Kang, just when I was going to say he was bringing it well for the momentum. Now with Maharlika. With Kedman answering back. Shraki. Dribbling past the Barley. Clever here. Knocked back. I believe it came off Giganto. That is why there's a corner kick.
That clearance from Giganto could have gone anywhere. Dangerous intervention there, but Maharlika, they have to dig in really deep now for these last 20 minutes because they're going to go under intense pressure from Stallion.
Ricky Sen just showing a bit of his respect to Dini Barley. They're also teammates once upon a time with their previous teams. Ivanovsky.
Oh!
Chance here. Ken Pride got that off. It barely had power.
I think it was a Barley with the attempted clearance, and it just dropped to Ken Pride. For a moment, it looked like he had time to shoot, but too much traffic there.
On to the right. Flag stays down. They wanted to get it to Fami, but Banner sends it to safety. But Maharlika have a corner to work with.
Game getting stretched now. Both teams launching attacks, one after the other.
And I love it because we are going to see at least 18 more minutes of that.
Spot on, Clara, spot on. And, it's this type of match that, really I look forward to when watching the PFL. Because you get so much quality on two teams. And they go at it for the whole 90.
And with my live standings, Maharlika is set to elevate to 15 points. Thanks to 5 wins and 4 draws. Stallion, 4 wins, 2 draws, and 3 losses. It's those draws that are hurting them also. You see the draws over the wins because they were moments away from sealing W's. Stallion with a plus 19 goal difference. Maharlika got plus 8. But it's points here again that matter initially. If this ends as a draw, it'll be Stallion leading heading into the Christmas break and SEA Games break. Sent to safety now by Stallion. Maharlika will get another crack at it. Again, Maharlika out to end that 2-game losing streak. They fell to 1-0. Cebu FC 4-1. But for Stallion, undefeated in 3 games. That includes that 2-all draw versus the Aguilas, where they conceded a goal in what was one of the last kicks of the game.
Yeah, both of these teams really want to break that record of not being able to put away their chances and points against big teams. At the moment, it's Maharlika who are going closer to getting that goal, and it would be for them a relief to say that they could finally beat a big team. Still a lot of time though before they can say that.
See how Maharlika are getting up together as a unit. That transition from defense to attack. Taken quickly by Nieras. What is the call on the ground? It will be a free kick. Banner. Ivanovsky. They are defending as a unit here. Maharlika staying compact. Kedman now. They are exhausting their options left, right, and center as Kedman gets stripped. That is outside of the box. It will be a free kick from the edge.
Yeah, Maharlika are taking a risky game here. They're going man for man, which is not what you usually see from teams, but I mean, to be fair to them, it's worked
It's working.
a lot of the time this evening. What could be a problem is if one of their players is going man for man and they're just a little bit too tired because they've spent so much energy in this match, they could get beaten. And in a man for man system, this is the same for all sports. In a man for man system, once one player gets beaten individually, then the whole thing is gonna have a domino effect and collapse.
There you go. In comes Maxon Dorado, the Brazilian. Good to see Dorado is fine, of course, after taking that hit on opening day. So Dorado essentially, or we expect him to take that spot of Kedman on the wing, unless they will shuffle things up. Dorado also adds that creativity. Well, Maharlika grinding it out with their defense, their hard work. It's been a tough day for Finn McDaniel, but he'll drill it. Henry Balobo appeared to get a piece of that. Ivanovsky will let this roll out as they get a throw in.
Well, it was a really tight angle, but the shot on target, it tested Balobo. Balobo responded well.
Sendra now, game off of Mike Menzi. Shraki! Skies it though. If he got that to tip, of course, he would have challenged Balobo, who is now on the ground and is shaken up.
Shiraki's not had much space this evening, but for a moment had this half volley as a chance. It's a really tough chance, but you know the type of quality he has. He'll probably have expected to have gotten that on target at least test Balobo, who is down at the moment.
They cannot afford to lose him. It'll be very difficult if they insert a fresh keeper, of course, because of momentum. And it's just being thrown into a fire, into a pit of fire. If you have to come in as a goalkeeper late in the game like this.
That's completely spot on, Claro, but at the same time, it is a really good goalkeeper on their bench if you're Maharlika. It's Dini Otara. What a goalkeeper to have.
The man himself. Oh, our referee himself. Raymar de los Santos getting a bit of the spray. Dini Watara, as we know, and Kenny Balobo, both capable of starting for any PFL team. We haven't seen his dance in a while when you talk about Dini Watara, right? Should Dini Watara be on the pitch for any team with his history? And if they get a goal, you'll see him do his trademark dance. Artista din siya, right? As you know. He is an actor. You see him in teleseries.
Kalaban ni Coco Martin.
And just when you think, of course, or if there's those days you try to run away from football, turn on the TV, kita mo si Dini Watara. He can only run. Definitely can't hide. Banner played it over the top, just gifts it back. Now it's 12 minutes in added time remaining here at the Rizal Memorial Stadium in Manila. And volley appeared to take a dip. Collision in the middle. A yellow is given to Banner.
Banner second to that loose area ball. Giganto, really brave from him actually to still push through with taking that touch because he saw the on-rushing Banner, and it was a good foul in the end because it's gonna progress Maharlika up the pitch and also at the same time eat up a few precious seconds going to the last stages of this match.
Stephen Banner, the Ghanaian, is given a yellow. That is not him, that is Finn McDaniel though. You see, of course, the body language, the way they are tense. But we are expecting Amir Memari Manish to enter the game. I'm looking at our data. It's still hard to believe. when you see the number 39 written on the age of Shraki. Low cross. This went out. Both sides saying it's theirs. It will go to Maharlika. Here's the change that we were expecting also. Ricky Sendra will come off for the Iranian Amir Memari. He's center forward. And with his 80-minute stint, it's not a business day for Ricky Sendra.
It's very rare you say that Ricky Sendra has not been on the team that's won the midfield battle.
Exactly. And with Maharlika in the lead, taking some time off the clock, of course, as we say, with any team that is in the driver's seat. Landert had to tip this one over. Too close for comfort if he just watched that go by.
And no risk taken from the goalkeeper. But that might have just been flying in.
Fahmi Ibrahim also out to just block the vision of the keeper. Yeah, I like this move right here being executed by Kim. He is running inside and outside of the goal in a circle. As this clearly now went outside. Perhaps Maharlika going for glory there, given that they hold this 2-1 lead.
Stallion have just 8 minutes plus stoppage time to make a response, because at the moment it's not going to be a good look on them that they're going to end 2025 outside of the championship group. Of course, there's still one more round of a single round robin to be played before the two parts of the league separate. But it would be better to end the year on a high note.
Here comes Dorado now, trying to work his magic. Kenry Palobo up to the task.
A safe pair of hands from Balobo, because that cross was zipped in. And if he spilled it, McDaniel was lurking there.
I was about to say he does not believe in magic. As you read that one well. Eight minutes remaining here. How do you see this developing, Diego?
Maharlika are going to continue to do what they've done well so far in this match, which is to slow the game down, to go long, not be afraid to go long. I've just seen Coach Moon Hong signal to Kenry that he should go long, and at this point of the game, not take any risks. For Stallion, however, this is going to be a tough one, because they found themselves going into the last few matches against big teams ahead going into the final moments. This time it's the opposite. They're going to be the ones chasing. Let's see if that unfamiliarity could benefit or even cause them more problems, because it's not a scenario that they've been in too many times this season.
A bit of that stop and go now. It'll be a free kick. Shraki under that pressure once more. Never took in pressure, Shraki. There's always that intent to slow him down. They'll boot it long to Amir Memari. Off the defender. They send in the cross. Outside already, and just to be safe, Ferrer got his boot to send that ball to the track oval.
Yeah, Ferrer was not going to take any risk there. Safety first from the fullback, because Liv Dorado was also behind him. Maharlika are going to have to be really compact now, because you'd imagine Stallion are just going to become more direct in the last few minutes, send in multiple crosses to test the back line. Let's see how the blue shirts are going to respond to that.
Wave after wave, it's been unsuccessful for Stallion as they are looking to make it to wall. They made it 1-1 earlier as Shraki's ball is intercepted or denied. And of course, don't you forget, we have the Asian Club Championship, also known as the Shopee Cup, set to take place on Wednesday right here at the Rizal Memorial Stadium. Selangor FC of Malaysia will be traveling here to Manila to take on Cebu FC. Gentle Giants have opted to make Rizal Memorial their home again for that regional tournament. Ibrahim now. Sent it wide. Numbers favor Maharlika. But there was the denial. They got to stop Cho Wo-yuk. They couldn't get this ball forward. Maharlika denying any attacking opportunities to Stallion by essentially forcing them to play defense. Cho inside, being told to shoot. That's the reason why. That's the dagger here. 3-1. Dini Watara also getting tangled up.
Tell you what, this is an excellent individual goal. Dribbles past 3 or 4 Stallion players, and the shot is perfect into the bottom corner. What a goal to put some cushion between the two teams. And the celebrations, unsurprisingly, crazy from the Maharlika team. And they should be, because it looks like they're gonna finally get over that duck and get all 3 points against the big team.
Gone are the days of Maharlika FC as a minnow or that developmental side. They're out to get results, and they are going to head to the Christmas Sea Games break in the number 6 spot. And Stallion at number 7. We were saying also, if this somehow ended in a draw, it will be Stallion above Maharlika. But with this impending result, Maharlika will leapfrog Stallion Laguna in the standings. They'll be up 15-14 on points. Dorado, he will try to get a lifeline, but if they do get a lifeline, will it be too little too late?
It's also going to be interesting to see how much stoppage time is going to be added on. There were a lot of stoppages in this match, so I won't be surprised if a lot of minutes are added. But just speaking on that, Claro, it puts Maharlika in a really good spot to start the second round, and it's going to put all the big teams within just a few points of each other, which is exactly what the neutrals are going to want to see when round 2 eventually starts in January.
Because with our live standings, Kaya, Aguilas, and Maharlika, that's number 4, 5, and 6, within 3 points of one another. Oh, Banner's ball did come off our referee though. That will carry on with a drop ball. Less than 2 minutes remaining before we head over to additional time. Alongside Diego Cordero, this is Claro Manzano. We are bringing you Stallion Laguna versus Maharlika FC. Stallion playing from left to right, chasing the game now after Cho made it 3-1.
Maharlika, they've dropped the man-to-man approach. They're going to sit in this really low block now. And it makes sense to protect the 2-0 lead. You might as well do that. And you might as well do this, exactly what Baloba's doing, just buying as much seconds as possible. And he's going to go long. I'm 100% sure of that. Get Maharlika up the pitch rather than playing out.
Do I say ball handling there with what Kenry Baloba was doing? A bit of the fake, of course, just to delay things as much as possible. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems like just 4-4-2 Maharlika just allowed it to get numbers quickly. But here comes Vin McDaniel. Will he get them a lifeline? Squared it to the middle. Dorado could not get it. McDaniel's angle was running out.
You know, the crazy thing about that is, I think that's been Finn McDaniel's story of the night. He hasn't had much space. That's a really heavy head there by Mike Menzie.
This game has been heated. And we've witnessed one red card in this game to a coach of Maharlika. 5 minutes, that is an eternity if you are Maharlika. Very short if you're Stallion. There's a look at Amir getting a hit from Mike Menzie. been a solid performance here from Mike. And with the cheers in the grandstand, we are seeing that Chima Ozoka is on the verge of entering this game. Alongside him also, there is Ian Eddy. A chance to whip this in now. But remember again, it's Stallion only searching for a lifeline. Maharlika with 2 hands on the 3 points here and that number 6 spot. After 2 rounds again, it is the winner, or after it is the top 6 who will head over to the championship round. The top 6 will play in their own single round robin, as Balobo denied that one at the bottom corner.
It's looking ever so likely that Maharlika are going to get all 3 points, boost themselves up to 6, and that also means, despite all the facts or all the stuff we were talking about round 2, they actually still have one more big round 1 match. That's going to be against Kaya when we restart in January, and they're going to go into that match on good form, given the way things have gone tonight.
Giganto gets it well inside the goalkeeper area. Just set it aside because the flag was raised. Let's hold on as Ian Eddy and Chimo Zoka will enter. You do recall when Chimo Zoka did get a goal and his former teammates from Cebu were cheering him on. Precious seconds being taken off here. But the time can be added with the discretion of our referee.
Just keep an eye out on Ibrahim and Shrock. The play hasn't even started, and the man marking job is already going on. That's how tight they've been to Shrock the whole evening.
And they played that to perfection. You gotta credit Coach Moon Hong. There you go, confirmation once more on the changes. Balobo taking seconds off. He can control the game as the goalkeeper. Get some good distance on that volley. Get in the attacking direction. Giganto will waste time now in the corner. Oh, Vasquez winning that. I spoke too soon. And it will go the way of Maharlika. 2 hands on the win now for them. What a spell or tournament here for Stallion. So they essentially being consistent when it comes to bagging results against top 7 clubs. In their 3-game spell where they were winless, or sorry, where they were undefeated, there was that draw versus the Aguilas. And a yellow was issued once more to a Maharlika staff member. Well, there's the win versus Army, the win versus Garelli, which you expect him to put away. Then Aguilas rescued a 2-all draw against them again in what was almost a W. Less than 30 seconds away from the 5th minute.
Maharlika are going to be so happy with the way they've played their game tonight. What's impressive is that even when they were clawed back to 1-1, they didn't lose their composure like they did before in their previous matches against big teams. And yeah, I mentioned it earlier, they're going to go into that Christmas break and Kaya showdown on a high, which is exactly what they would have wanted when the night started.
Just 1 goal again for Stallion, courtesy of Michael Kedman. He made it 1-all earlier to cancel out the goal of Mike Menzi. Opong and Cho fired 2 unanswered goals. That is why or how we find ourselves for the meantime. Shraki. That was clean though, according to our referee. Ivanovsky wins it. They're desperate now. Zhang getting it forward. Shraki once more. The challenge from behind, courtesy of Cho. Use that goal scorer again to give that dagger. Just like that, it is the full-time whistle, 3-1. We just wrapped up our goal scorers, actually. Do you say this is an upset?
Some might call it that. However, given the way they've been so close to each other in the table, I wouldn't really necessarily call it an upset. And it's been coming also. Maharlika have been playing big games this season. They haven't gotten 3 points in any of those games, but they'll be feeling that it was finally time for them to do that, and they've done that here. And what a perfect performance it's been from Maharlika. The game plan from Coach Moon Hong was fantastic with the man marking and the mid block, and it paid off, and it paid off really well.
What was that key to victory again for Maharlika you were mentioning?
To be honest, I think it was to keep their composure and to convert their chances, and they've done just that and even more, because they did it in such a manner that limited the likes of Finn McDaniel, Kedman, Shrock, although Kedman did get a goal, but he was limited other than that goal. And it was a defensively resolute performance from Maharlika.
Oh, there you go. 3-1 is the score again. Just to run through our goal scorers, Mike Menzi gave us the opener. The scoring, of course, and heading home that free kick. Michael Kedman made it 1-1. Opong and Cho put things away to make it 3-1. This is Tara Manzano alongside Diego Cordero. We will sign off from this game as we are eventually going to take it to our pitch interview. But it's goodbye.
Congrats on the win. You finally beat another Big Six rival. What are your thoughts on the match?
Wow, it was sorry. Wala nang boses kakasigaw eh. So sobrang tough game. We all know laging Stallions, tough team to beat, and then finally siguro beating one of the strong team is finally giving us a statement for us. Okay, na kaya namin magstay sa top 6. Okay na, at Maharlika is no longer a joke, right? Like our first game, like what I said. All right, our target is to make it to the top 4. And now, hopefully, we can make it all the way there.
Hindi naman.
Ilan siguro muna, yeah. But again, in addition, I won't get this man of the match of the game without my teammates. So props to them, and most importantly, props to Coach Moon. Yeah, he's been very patient with us, stick with us, okay? Ups and downs, and he was still there with us, and now we're getting finally the result that we want. Yeah, so thank you. Thank you.